Just feels like there should be a shed somewhere laying in here. Has to be.
We know that most of the deer are funneling in to the field from right here in this little opening, which almost seems like a really good spot to put a green plot.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would let us do a food plot, but this is a real simple spot, and just get some green up here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know, was it beans? It was corn last year.
Corn last year, should be beans this year.
Yeah, and so when those beans get yellow and they start moving up the hill to the corn, maybe we could, you know, draw them back a little bit if we have something green. I think you're right though. I think maybe we put a camera here. I don't know if necessarily this is the right tree for it, but maybe one of these little
right in this pinch.
buckthorns or something. Yeah, why don't we do that? I'm almost thinking this tree. What do you think about this tree here? Angled out. We got a couple different trails coming in here. Although there's a pretty massive rub on this tree, it might be a really good camera tree. It's kind of set back a little bit, and we
Catch
should
anything coming this way, and
yeah, no matter what, if they walk right by this way or loop out, our cameras should be able to pick up the movement even from, you know, 20 yards away. So
yeah, let's do it.
All right, this is the tree then. Let's set it up.
And this is the high ground that we talked about in the previous episode. So when they come up here, before they get into the, probably will be beans next year, before they get into that, they should kind of meander around here, and this should be a good staging area to cut them off prior to getting in the fields just before dark. It's gonna work. Right there.
Perfect. All right. Moving on out, or should we pick a tree? Let's pick a tree. I think I found some ground that you don't want to walk on over there. Oh, come over here. Get this angle right here. This is crazy. So what are we? 50 yards off the road?
Yeah.
If that even.
All right. And it's just this little chunk of high ground.
And there's a rub right here in the bed.
And it's off this finger on a little teeny point coming right off of it. And there's just trails come through. I bet you if we come over by these bigger trees, they're gonna have thicker root systems. I bet you there's a bed right over there. When we were just over in that other bed, I had talked about, I bet you if we go look at this tree that has the bigger root system, I bet you any money there's a bed on it. And sure enough, it is textbook.
Oh my God.
Look at the size of that rod.
It looks like a beaver dam. Oh my God. The layer. Yes, yes sir. Big buck bed.
You have one here, and then you look at another big tree.
Oh my God.
With a root system.
Oh yeah, he just gets up and moves around, doesn't he? So we got this high spot here. It's an obvious buck bed. It is so perfect, it's not even funny. Big rubs in it. And then you go over where Dave is. Let me just take you over there so you can see it, because that almost looks like the Taj Mahal Grand Suite or something. It's like the most beautiful bed ever.
Oh, come from this one.
These are almost like hummocks.
And then you could step over to the other room.
Oh my God. This is when he has company, or is this just because he wants a different view? He's sick of seeing the same thing all the time. Oh my God.
Another bed there.
Yeah. We're mostly saying this is a buck bed because it's so big. There's rubs right in the immediate vicinity. I mean, right in the bed itself, and just by the sheer size of it. And the thing that kind of trips me up though is when you see all these smaller beds around it. I mean, I'm familiar with seeing bucks bed and get up and then like kind of scoot over a few feet and turn if the wind shifts or something, but I don't necessarily know that all of these other hummocks are There's obviously deer bedding on them, but I don't know that they're necessarily related to that buck bed there.
They do say that the bucks, mature bucks, will bed alone. They're not a pack animal. They separate themselves. So the ones that we get further out there that were isolated away from the little pods very well could be a mature buck.
Now the question is, how the hell are we going to hunt this spot?
Yeah, we know where deer are bedding. It's access, wind, and
lack of trees.
Might have to strap some together.
We might be shooting ourselves in the foot here. Okay, we're kind of going against the golden rule, and we're going to put a cell camera. We're going to go up a few feet, maybe 10 feet high, and angle it downwards. And we're not going up high so people don't see it, because there's not going to be a whole lot of people that are willing to go into where we are now. But being up a little bit higher like that give us, you know, a little bit better visibility down into these beds. And there's a cluster of them. I mean, we got one big one here, one big one that Dave's standing in right now, another big one about 3-4 feet away from me to my left. There's a lot of beds in here, and I can't even tell you if they're does or bucks using them. But what I can tell you is that bucks are definitely using them at times, because just about every one of these trees in this immediate area is rubbed up like crazy. So I'm just gonna lop a few of these bigger trees down so we get a little bit cleaner view into here. But I'm gonna go up high enough where it's not gonna be, you know, eliminating some of the cover that they're bedding underneath. Now we're even closer. I think we're maximum 50 yards from the road right now. Dave and I just stumbled on this spot. There's a little creek that goes right through here. It's gonna be so cool. We're setting up a a stand that might be a perfect spot for a double set, because there's two trees right next to each other. We'll have a little bit of canopy cover. We might even need to build some canopy in there, even just with, you know, some zip ties or something, and get some limbs hanging, but to cover us up even more and conceal us. But this is so cool. It is just destroyed in here. Like, it's almost not healthy to walk because there's so much deer poop on the ground. That's so funny that somebody had been up here already and cut this limb. Makes you wonder how often that happens, where guys pick the same trees. That's what's really cool about this property. This is a really small piece. It's just a little over 60 acres, and I mean, Dave and I can both be out here hunting in the fall and not step on each other's toes. This is going to be a really money spot. I can just see it now this fall. And up in the Tamaracks, that's another 300 yards, 400 yards north of here, potentially seeing the same deer, potentially seeing different deer, and we could be just having the time of our life. I really cannot wait to hunt here. It is like a dream come true. And right now I'm just hoping I don't fall, and if I do, I know I got a soft landing, because it is swampy. So we got a stand hung. We got one more on my back. The idea here is, on this piece, is it's going to be a lot of run and gun, hang and hunt style approach to how we come out and hunt this piece. I mean, it's not very big, again, so we got to keep the deer guessing. It means come out with your stand on your back, hang it up, climb down with your stand, load it back in the truck, and do it all over the next time you come out. But I don't think it hurts anything to keep a couple stands up in the tree. And at least now, even if it's for first sits, we've got a spot if we have no time, you know, or it's just not the right conditions to sneak in and get set up, or whatever the case may be. We have this stand now, and we're going to hang one more, and we can always use those as fallback stands. And we might, you know, who knows, we might get up in those stands and find out they're in the worst spot possible, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case with where we are right now, because it is sick. I think what we're going to do is, you can't really tell, but you can get your hand around. That looks like just a big gnarly mess, but actually you can get your hand around here in the back, and as long as we can do that, we can get these straps on the camera, you know, around. It seems pretty low, but it's actually just right, because about 10, not even, maybe 8 yards from here is where there's a pretty good intersection of deer trails. Again, this is a small piece, just over 60 acres. So now this will be our third camera. You might think that's overkill, and maybe it is. We'll find out the hard way. We'll learn a lesson, right? But what we're doing is we're setting up right along the edge of this food, and although it's cut corn right now, they're going to come in here in the next month and they're going to turn that field over and get it planted for beans. And so there's probably not going to be a whole ton of pictures for the next month and a half or so, or 2 months, but we'll get enough to get some inventory. And they're not carrying antlers right now, but that doesn't really matter to us either. We just want to see numbers, the size of the bodies, and of course you'll be able to see if there's bases on their heads or not, if they're bucks. But in a couple of months, beans start coming up, you can bet there's going to be deer coming through here, because right behind me is all cattail marsh and tamarack swamp, and that's where they're bedded. So cool that you got a screen.
Yeah,
so when you're
see exactly what you're doing.
You want to actually walk out just a bit here. I'd like to see what you would look like if you were a deer at this height. Maybe I need to angle it up just a hair. All right. And then burst count, I think I'd like to do 3. It's a big card. Video. I like the better quality. And we got 5 seconds to disappear before she takes our photo. All right. Cool, man. Take a hike back. We'll go talk to the landowner. Hook him up with some beer to say, "You're awesome," and then we'll hit the road. Yeah? Perfect. All right, dude. So we ended up on the southern part of this property, and we were kind of looking over some spots that, you know, we knew looked good from the map and from the aerials, and we'd seen from the road. And even Dave had, when we were out here together the last time, we had separated about 100 yards so we could, you know, get more eyes in different areas at the same time. And David said, that's a good spot. I think we got to go back in there when we have more time. So of course today was the day, and we stayed out of the tamaracks. We went to the south where Dave had seen some good sign, and we found some mega beds, tons of them. A lot of hummocks in there, and anywhere where there's higher ground, it seemed like there was a bed. And what's funny is we couldn't really distinguish one buck bed from another. So I mean, I don't know what you think, Dave, but as far as I'm concerned, it could be bucks and does.
Yeah, it could be
using the same beds.
Yeah.
Because there's rubs in just about every single bed. But at any rate, we got a stand hung. We brought another stand to hang if we found a spot for it, but we really didn't. So no sense in hanging 2 if there's no need to. We got 3 cameras out there. I don't know, I'm just really excited about this property. So we're gonna go pick up a case of beer and go visit the landowner, and just pay our respects, say thanks for letting us come out here and hunt, and be on our way.